everyone, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. It is Sunday, March 23rd, 2025. Missouri is moving to seize Chinese-owned farmland assets to collect a landmark $24 billion judgment. It is not immediately clear how or when Missouri officials might move to seize Chinese assets, including land, as they pledged to do. Mr. Bailey's office said it could seek assistance from the Trump administration in identifying and taking those assets. Here is an image of that ruling. I'll give you a link to this page. It will be down below in the more information box below this video. They won by default because it says here each defendant has failed to appear or otherwise answer after being properly served. Earlier this month, U.S. District Court Judge Mr. Limbaugh Jr. declared that Chinese Communist government was liable for covering up the start of the COVID-19 pandemic and had engaged in monopolizing actions by hoarding protective equipment, PPE. He ruled Beijing should reimburse Missouri $24 billion for harm it inflicted on the state's residents. This is a landmark victory for Missouri and the United States in the fight to hold China accountable for unleashing COVID-19 on the world, Bailey said in a statement. China refused to show up in court, but that doesn't mean they'll get away with causing untold suffering and economic devastation. We intend to collect every penny by seizing China-owned assets, including farmland. So they must be looking to take maybe businesses that were acquired by China and maybe homes or apartment buildings. I don't know. Bailey's predecessor as Attorney General, now a U.S. Senator, Eric Schmidt, had brought the legal action, and Bailey saw it through to completion in a trial that started in January. China refused to cooperate or make an appearance in the case, making Limbaugh's decision a default ruling. The lawsuit filed by the Missouri Attorney General's office in April of 2020 during the early months of the pandemic accused the Chinese government of withholding information about the existence and the spread of the virus, and then of cutting off supply of personal protective equipment, or PPE. It wasn't just for the United States, but they also cut it off from the rest of the world. Chinese officials said Friday that they did not accept the judge's decision. China has said it will not honor the judgment. The so-called lawsuit has no basis in fact, law, or international precedent. The Chinese embassy spokesperson told the New York Times, China does not and will not accept it. If China's interests are harmed, we will firmly take reciprocal countermeasures according to international law. In his ruling, Judge Limbaugh Jr. wrote that China was misleading the world about the dangers and scope of COVID-19 pandemic and had engaged in monopolizing actions to hoard PPE. Those actions, he said, hampered the early response to the pandemic in the United States and made it impossible to purchase enough equipment for medical providers responding to the virus. This is why we need to have more businesses developing and making our own products here in the U.S. Chinese entity owned the most farmland with 42,596 acres of farmland in the state, and that was as of 2024, the most of any nation, but nearly all of its lands can be attributed to one iconic American brand. In 2013, American pork producer Smithfield Foods was purchased by Hong Kong-based company WH Group. In January of 2024, Governor Mark Parson of Missouri signed an executive order banning Chinese citizens and businesses from purchasing agricultural land near dozens of military installations across the state. He said, "Believe me, if I had the authority, we wouldn't just be talking about banning farmland, but all commercial properties by foreign adversaries, regardless of rural or urban." Parson is also evidently a cattle rancher. So this is a good ruling. I think they just come in and take it and sell it to American citizens or American companies. What are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless y'all. Bye.